We're recording. So this is a call to order for the South Kingstown Building Code Board of Appeals. Today's date is Tuesday, January 27th at 4:30 p.m. Members present today are Ed Melchiori, Laura Krikorian, and Tom Gilchrist. One item on the agenda. Item 1 is petition of Stephen Demetric requesting relief from State Building Code Section 310.8 basement or cellar windows for property at 411. Yeah, I failed to put that in there, didn't I? 411 Ministerial Road. Yeah, so Stephen, do you want to kind of go over? We have the plans up here, but this is, I think, a 23-page. But you can kind of direct, and we can go over, entertain questions and kind of go over what you're looking for.
Yeah, basically, to be perfectly honest, I'm in the plans that got reviewed. I missed the note about basement windows, and one of the reasons I missed it was because I haven't put a basement window in a house in Rhode Island in 15 years, and not a single building inspector in any town's ever asked for them. Because for years, the code for the basement windows for years was about ventilation and like old school, you open your basement windows, flush the air out. And the way that we build for energy efficiency is that's actually an antiquated code. And the building science behind ventilation and light from a basement window, actually, those basement windows actually are a liability in a house, not an asset at all. And in the last 4 years, like, house we built in Westerly, just like this one, no basement windows. Did one in Charlestown last year, got a CO, no basement windows. Last house we built in South Kingstown had one basement window because he had an office, but there was only one window, and no one said anything about 2 windows. And then we also got a building permit for what we're building over on Post Road at 458A Post Road. That doesn't have a habitable basement, but it's a 6-foot high crawl space that has all the same equipment in it as this basement, and no basement windows are required there. And the only caveat, I guess, would be the fire safety thing. However, I guess I understand the application of it, but in reality, this is an all-electric house. We have no fossil fuels in the house. There never will be fossil fuels in the house. And then the other reality is Rhode Island's the only state in the country that requires this, because that actually is removed from the ICC, and Rhode Island keeps adding it back in. I don't know why. And when I talked to a guy from the Rhode Island rep for the ICC, that when we're not in the next code cycle, Rhode Island's probably going to be removing that because it's antiquated. We don't need it anymore. So basically, I've been building, because we build an extraordinarily high quality home, and we don't use basement windows for a reason unless the customer wants it for light. And so that's basically, I'm like, do we really need this basement window? Like, I understand liability and stuff, and I'm always trying to build to the highest quality, and safety is always the #1 priority. But when we have a all-electric house with no fossil fuels, there's no oil tanks down there, there's no gas. There's an air source heat pump down there and a hot water heater, and I think that's it, and some basic wires.
Is there a plan that shows the equipment?
Yes, there should be a page of the equipment layout.
I was curious about egress
Right
from
here.
the basement.
There's a stair in the middle, Tom.
But doesn't that just come up into the house?
You're not required to have like a bulkhead or an egress stair unless if it's,
Oh, I thought it.
Unless it's habitable, right?
no, if
Doesn't say
it's
anything
a
about-
bedroom,
If there's a bedroom.
or if there's fuel-fired equipment, then
How I read 310:01.
I'll pull the section up, but yeah.
Yeah, no, you don't. You only need egress with a window if you have a bedroom, and then if you have an oil-fired equipment down there with living space, you don't need the second egress if you have a fire door
Okay.
and fire rating separating the oil-fired
I didn't,
equipment.
I,
from living
I,
space.
well, I
So-
might have missed that.
Yeah, so that's,
Is that room the mechanical? Which
this room here is just finished storage space.
Okay,
But then that's our ERP, that's our air handler, and that's our pump water heater.
and then on the bottom there, that's a step up crawl
Yeah,
space
step
and
up.
it's just wide open between
Just-
the,
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just this, so like just for example, like we could pass this code by sticking, like if you look at this plan right here, we could put a basement window here and a basement window here, meet the code, but then they're covered by a porch. And that'd be acceptable. We could also put a basement window here, but you gotta go all the way down the stairs and then go up into this
Through the
little
crawl
crawl space to
space,
get
yeah.
to the, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I like things that make sense, like applying common sense to the interpretation of these things.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull the, because this doesn't have the Rhode Island amendments, because there is an amendment for
Well, I looked,
specific.
Yeah, there's one
I
sentence.
looked at the IRC
Hmm.
and then it didn't contain that .8. But then I did find the 310.8 and there's this little brief amendment, which is exactly the terminology in your application.
Yeah.
But I thought I read it to say there had to be egress, irregardless if there was.
Well,
It's not even.
Well, not egress, but emergency escape and
Yeah.
rescue opening. But then there's exceptions. It'll say you need it, but then there's exceptions.
There was exceptions, but I didn't see.
I think one of them was if it's the fuel fired equipment is
Oh, yeah.
separated by a
It's
1 hour.
separated by, yeah.
I didn't bring my computer to
Yeah.
check.
Yeah, this is the downfall. The Rhode Island,
Can I
they
see
don't
it?
even print these. Yeah, this isn't gonna have it.
No, but it will have. I just was reading the IRC. I was just curious.
the model.
But I got to tell you, as an owner of an all-electric house,
Let me grab my.
I'm strongly considering finding a way to get some fossil fuel through power outages.
I mean, that's a whole other
that's
story.
But he
That has
said
nothing
there'll
to do
never
with
be
this.
fossil fuel.
Oh,
Well, we
but-
build to a standard that you're probably not familiar with. Like the heating and cooling load in this whole house, the cooling load in this house is about 9,000 BTUs and the heating load's about 12. So you could heat it with a hairdryer. And actually when you do the modeling on it, if we lose power in the middle of the winter and the sun's shining, the house will never go below 62 degrees. And I've built multiple houses like this and it's the
But
truth.
if you, let's say you had a little bigger load than that, and you put an outside generator, it's outdoors, that wouldn't affect.
Well, no one should run a generator in the house.
No, not inside the house, outside the
Yeah.
generator.
Well, you could run a generator if you wanted. Yeah, but any house if you lose electricity,
Yeah,
like
it's
you
just-
want your well
yeah.
and yeah.
So
See, in
you-
our houses, the heating system doesn't usually turn on until January. Is usually when it starts to trickle on.
So there isn't any risk of fossil fuels exploding or causing a fire, but there's a lot of wiring, which could,
Yeah, that's true for any house. Like there's wiring in crawl spaces. that
right,
could-
but
you
so,
go.
but there is
no-
that risk still.
This has the Rhode Island amendments.
Yeah, I was.
There's
Yeah, I
always,
mean,
a,
they should have
there's always a risk of fire, I mean, you know.
Someone could
you
light a
gotta-
match,
you
throw it
gotta-
down the stairs.
You got
but-
an
Yeah.
electric stove, I presume, right?
Yeah, it's an induction
Yeah,
cooktop.
I mean-
and
Somebody could spill something on the stove, you know.
So the way to get out of the basement, if there were a fire down there, would be to go up the stairs and that's it.
you got and
Or for
that's- which
firefighting
meets
capabilities, there would be no other way to get into the basement. It's just the stair.
Exceptions getting.
it's just
Well, let's see.
which is the
Yes,
same like
the
for
red.
example, like in
The
this
red is
house.
what Rhode Island inserted.
This house,
Oh.
for example, we could take all the equipment that's in the
not how
basement
I saw it.
and put it up
Well,
in
that's
the
thing,
attic,
You can't see the Rhode Island
with
amendments.
no
like,
window.
It showed. It showed
And
just
that meets code.
310.8.
Yep.
So the same stuff could happen up
Mm.
there as happens in the basement.
Well, isn't there another section of the code that says you can have a completely unventilated
with
crawl
have.
space as long as you add certain things like
Yes.
the
Mhm.
heat pump units,
If you-
the recovery air, the.
If you put in a
boiler.
ventilation system,
Yeah,
then you don't
ventilation
need the
system.
ventilation.
So you can have a crawl space that's completely unventilated with no windows.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
that this is a basement and a crawl space.
This is a heat pump system, air.
Yeah, forced air. Yep.
Forced air. Good.
Well, that's the thing. There's the model code, which is kind of a baseline for the country. Then each state might,
Add their
insert, or
pages.
strike through. But I mean, in time, I think we're trying to get towards the model code.
Yeah. When I looked online, it was the IRC with that addendum.
Yeah.
But this is rewriting 310.1.
Yeah, Rhode Island actually, they just wrote it in. There's a number of things like that Rhode Island's done that are, okay, they started on the ventilation code.
Yeah, I mean, there's different. I'm not sure who lobbies to
Yeah.
keep it unchanged.
Well, I guess that was one of my questions, like, you said Rhode Island has been adding it in, and now you're saying the next time they're not gonna.
Well, that's what they're talking about, is not adding it in the next time.
What's the reason for not adding it in?
What's the reason for adding it in?
What's the reason? Yeah, exactly.
Like if I built this house in Pawcatuck, Connecticut, I wouldn't need a basement window.
That's because you're relying on the behavior of that building official at that time.
No, because it's not the code in Connecticut
Oh, sorry, Rhode
or
Island.
Massachusetts or any other state in the entire country.
Yeah. But even still.
So is there a reason why Rhode Island keeps adding it in? Do you know?
I'm sure there is. I just couldn't say-
Pinpoint it?
Yeah, I would imagine somebody lobbied. I don't know if it was firefighters
That's what
or
I'm
if,
curious to know.
But certainly it's a window that they're requiring that nobody could actually get through. It
True.
would just be maybe busting and dropping a hose
Right.
in is maybe,
Thought process.
or maybe there's a window manufacturer that's in cahoots with the politicians and
Yeah, the Basement Window Manufacturers
That
Association.
could be it too.
Guy in charge of ventilation leaks.
What is that little piece that's attached to the building? Looks like a scuttle or a.
To the left
It's holding a fireplace.
Upper left, yeah, right there.
entryway?
Oh, that's this was actually an existing basement that we
Oh.
saved the majority of the
Okay.
concrete and added on, and that's where a little mudroom is.
Okay.
Yeah. We just didn't need to make it a full basement there, so.
So that is an unventilated crawl space.
No, that's in the we put everything in the basement in our envelopes.
No, in that little area
No,
that's
that's-
under there, is that a slab on grade?
But it's connected to the basement.
Oh,
You can go up there and you can look straight in,
I gotcha.
because we had to get a toilet line in there, and it's all insulated.
Okay.
Oh. What's the status of this build?
It's sheetrock.
this is well underway.
Oh, if we have to, we just cut a hole and dig a hole and cut a hole and stick a window in. It's just that it's a waste of human resources.
Whenever we've sat here with this situation where, it makes sense, but it's not our job to say the code's wrong.
I mean, the variances, he's here because he's probably seeking, like equivalent modification essentially of, if you can't, or based on the design of the house, it would be an issue with the windows if there's an equal alternative, is what I'm assuming, because you wouldn't be able to just waive and say, you know what, you don't need to put them in. I don't think the board would be able to just waive it.
Right. I guess that's,
I mean, you could, but it probably wouldn't be by the book.
So today, Rhode Island's code still requires a basement window.
Two.
Two basement windows.
Yeah, 12, I think it's 12
by
by
24.
32, yeah.
and for the purpose of light and ventilation,
And firefighting purposes.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
which are undefined.
I mean, you're a firefighter.
Give us a purpose.
I can just think for access. I mean,
Yeah, it's only for a hose,
Yeah, you-
but most like
I mean,
there's no physical human being.
I think with engineered products nowadays, it burns a little bit different, but I can't speak to why it's in there. So
And the other reality too is, why aren't they enforcing it in Exeter or Hopkinton or Charlestown or Narragansett or Westerly? And why didn't I need them on that post road over there when it's 6
That's
feet
exactly
tall?
why I'm sitting here, is I got caught, the electrical inspector decided to do a gotcha on me and start and change how a thing was being enforced that, had not been enforced in this town, but had been enforced in Charlestown. And
Oh, was that the
wire.
HVAC wiring?
Yes.
I know that's
And I
people still talk
became
about it in the
I became an
trenches.
expert on it, but
Was it
they
your
changed-
house?
Huh?
Was it your house?
Yeah,
Oh, that was your house. Okay.
yeah. So, but they changed in 2019. So
Yeah.
But I couldn't argue that, you haven't been doing it before. Why are you doing it now?
It's in the code.
They wouldn't,
Yeah, it's
Well,
in the
that's why I
code,
mean-
so you didn't have any.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of
Like
the
to
codes,
stand
it
up.
is subject to the interpretation
Well, and
of the local building.
and the other thing I
inspector.
couldn't argue was, where were you when before we had sheetrock? Why are you doing this now? It's not why he was there. You probably could have
Well,
answered these questions
yeah.
when there wasn't a house sitting on it.
I don't think, well, most building inspectors aren't intentional, some relish to torture.
Oh no,
but
that's
I-
so evil.
That's not this department.
No,
yeah.
no.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
they
no,
used to
you're
be. Remember
totally-
Bo in here?
But I
It
think,
took 12 trips to get a building permit with Bo.
That's not.
Oh, no, I love Bo. That he was,
I mean, for the other build, if it's, if it doesn't meet the definition of a basement, it might be the ceiling height where it's.
yeah, it's 6 feet. I'm just thinking logically, when you look at applying things and how the rules are there, but they're open. They're all open to interpretation.
What's the floor to ceiling height of the finished space?
7 something. I
Yeah,
saw.
it's like
Yeah,
7 feet,
So
9.
it's definitely not a crawl space.
No.
The
No,
whole thing
the
is
crawl
not.
space.
Because I've only done
The crawl spaces.
crawl spaces unventilated, but it's when we've provided other things that the code has required. So yeah, we have 8'4". Wow. So that finished space.
Well, it's not 8'4" clear. That's not actually how it ended up.
So 7.2 is the bottom.
No,
of
it's
the-
not 7. It's definitely
7'2"
it's
is
definitely a habitable room.
That's a pretty clever way to show the height of the basement. I am 5'8".
Oh, you know, the
Scale
Frankenstein
figure.
AutoCAD person.
The scale figure. It does have a square head.
Yeah.
Yeah, missing the pins though.
I mean, I feel like it's in the code, the 2 windows. It's clearly a basement with full height headroom. It's not just a crawl space. And there is only the one means of egress up the stair into the middle of the house.
But that's all that's required.
Hmm.
Yes.
Egress. We meet.
True.
We meet the egress. The only requirement we're not meeting is the fire access.
If that's
But-
what the windows are in there for.
Which is the only reason to put a window.
I think the ventilation, because you have a whole house ventilation, all that's controlled in the basement.
Oh yeah, that's a full.
But I think
separate ERV. It's
this-
only
Light and
firefighting.
firefighting.
Historically, it's for like cross ventilation of
Yep.
probably a damp basement.
But there's no.
But those actually
ventilation.
that actually makes those damp basements worse.
Now, there is the, the heat pump is providing ventilation.
No, we have a
Yeah, but
separate-
but
the heat
there's
pump's
no-
only heating and cooling. We have an energy recovery ventilator. It's a whole
Right.
house
Okay.
separate. duct
But is
ventilator.
Is the basement ducted?
Yes.
and vents in it? Yeah.
Yeah, every room in the house has either a supply or a return, and the basement has 2 supplies and 2 returns, so there's 48 CFM.
So is
So
this
continuous ventilation in the basement.
a net zero home or?
Yeah, we're actually building it to the Passive House standard.
Yeah.
So it's meeting all the DOEs are energy ready, indoor air plus.
So does that fall under any other categories in the code that we could squeak under?
Well, the other issue too is if we stick a basement window in there, we're gonna lose our FIA
Yeah.
certification.
That's where I'm trying to go. Is there
Well,
anything in
And
the
the way to
energy
get the FIA
code?
certification back would be to block the window with a big piece of foam.
Well,
which
if
then defeats
the
firefighting
energy
access.
code, no, I think the board could have if there was like a alternate means to say if firefighting purposes is you know, likely the only criteria that's not being met. If there was maybe a cord hole for a fire department connection or something, some other way to,
That wasn't
know.
necessarily a window, but was an opening,
But that would be,
but that's gonna.
that
have
would
to
be a
completely-
logical thing if we understood what they
I would,
wanted to do. with
Would you
it.
rather
personally-
do a door, an insulated door opening, or a window, 2 windows?
well, the other
Just-
option we have too is a sprinkler system. So if we put a sprinkler system down there, we don't need it.
Well, you could do that.
Which is probably the direction we'll go if we,
but
Is
I mean, I don't,
That opens up the exemption for,
no, I just don't know if that would resolve, I mean, I understand.
it does, like, you usually don't need egress in bedrooms in a basement if you have.
There is a section.
well,
of this-
I thought we were past the whole egress question. It was just,
Well, I think the board could say, you know, the reason why the windows are there, in this case, if it's, the whole house is being,
Ventilated.
ventilated, then it's really just for firefighting purposes. I think, I mean, unless if windows and light, but I think, cer- I think that's,
I don't like the idea of a separate door because when the firefighters show up, it's a volunteer fire department. They're not trained to look for a random door because this house had an exception. So it wouldn't even be
probably
used.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta come in
Unless
through the
Ricky,
main entrance
unless
and
Ricky
then-
shows
Let's
up.
Richie shows up. We'll put him on the
Ricky's there.
schedule.
but, so if we were to say, okay, it's there, it's for the firefighting, which is not defined at all, right?
Well, it's one of the three, it's,
Yeah, but it doesn't say, what they're,
Mm.
put a hose down there, are they gonna ventilate, or,
yeah, I mean, I don't, do you ventilate basements, or, yeah, so,
and that's, so it burns faster, or,
No, to evacuate any of the smoke or,
yeah?
but
makes sense.
So you have these portable blowers that, but when they ventilate the roof, they put a hole.
Just put a hole in the roof.
yeah, but mechanical ventilation, fans, everything like that, you can eject it. You can positively ventilate it.
Right.
So,
So that's
multiple
why
ways to
they
do it.
want
Could
to.
be,
That's why
could be
they,
part of it, yeah.
but then they don't say it can't be under a deck, and they don't say you need 36 inches, so.
I mean,
Yeah, I think it just says an imposing,
Opposing
They have to be 20
walls.
feet apart, I think. Something
They
like
said they
reasonably remote from each other.
reasonably remote.
There you go.
yeah.
And then again, it falls on the authority, the building official to say.
Yeah, like
it's
I could have put those two under the deck, and that's legal. But the fire department's never going to use them.
Don't they make
The only
any
people that can use
good,
those are the mice and the
good
spiders.
thermally sealed basement windows?
Yeah, when they don't make a basement window, that means
That's what that. It sounds like
they
it's-
don't make the basement window to meet.
There's only one
their
market in
requirement.
Rhode Island, right?
I mean, I think the board, might be in your purview if you find that it's primarily for firefighting purposes, if the applicant wanted to install a sprinkler system in the home for basement coverage would be, but again, I think that's, within, your discretion, but again, you're the board.
How would you feel about if we came to learn that there was no suitable basement window product that would meet your passive home requirements? And it's just, the code requires something that doesn't exist for this application. And and then,
Yeah, I mean, you're I would say an expert in that. I just don't know for a fact that they don't manufacture.
Not in the U.S. There isn't a single. I mean, you'd have to have a custom window made of some kind. In order to meet the, someone to be able to open it from. Well, you basically have to be able to break glass from the outside. But in order to meet our requirements, it's going to be a triple pane window, and they don't break easily.
are you thinking, Ed?
And they're also,
No, I'm just
the other
saying-
part of it too is they're also triple point locks as
I'm
well.
not
so you-
uncomfortable with the thought of a sprinkler system. I know it's gonna add to your cost, but it's certainly not gonna detract from your energy efficiency.
No,
target.
no.
Well, my concern about that is if there's ever any solar added to this and somebody puts a battery bank down there, I don't think water is the solution, right?
That isn't for us
No.
to.
No,
manage.
but I'm
It's
just,
not-
I'm,
that's-
Well, actually, the
I'm
solar
just
systems
not
have
seeing
the
that-
solar systems have GFIs on them. So yeah, they do. They all shut off.
And part of this new code, they require all those now energy storage systems to be in a rated enclosure
oh, so,
currently.
Yeah.
so
Yes.
I guess my feeling about that was that water doesn't solve all issues.
I mean, if the windows are there for firefighters to be able to get in, then it does kind of.
They, you can't get in one of those windows.
Well, it's not there
No,
for access to
well-
get through the window.
They don't, they say, I could when I was a kid.
I'm not saying they can
12.
climb in them. I'm saying they could kick it in and get a hose in there, or
Or a
open
blower.
them and get the blower to get the smoke out. So if that's the reason they're there, but it isn't clear that
But
that's,
we don't
the
know what their
reason.
reason is to have them there.
if it's for,
You know what's interesting? When you look at the older version of those codes, it doesn't say firefighting. It says for light ventilation.
well, so light, I know you have electricity for the light, but there is no natural light down there. And if that's
But it-
another reason for them, then
Yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, you can have a bathroom in the middle of a house with no lights.
Yeah, I think you could have a fire at night. I don't see that lights are
Is it-
reasonable, but it does say
it
it.
does say.
The house is gonna be equipped with typical smoke detectors and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah. That's all in there. Yeah.
So, who's got words that, or how do you feel about this? Do you think that he should install these, or that we should find a way
I mean, I feel
to
like
satisfy this
sprinkler
application?
system may be an option for not having to install the windows.
Yeah, the idea of some kind of a blower, the firefighters, as this gentleman will probably tell you, they're gonna go down those stairs with the blower evacuation fan before they go through a window.
But they
I
got
would
no
think.
place to push it out. There's only one hole,
No, to bring the hose back up the stairs, out the door.
Does it work like that?
Again, there's a 6 foot tall crawl space across Route 1 there that if there was a fire down there, there's no way to evacuate that.
But there,
Like,
I
the same
thought
fire could happen in
there is
any of these
I thought there
spaces
was a
where-
section in the code that spoke specifically to crawl spaces, and you can have an unventilated crawl space as long
Yes.
as you have.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, but if I'm trying to find the logic of. I understand like egress and ventilation, but when you look at all the buildings that I've done, it doesn't make any sense that this one has to have a window for a firefighter and that one doesn't.
It
when they
sounds
have
like
the
it's your
exact
same
same
argument.
equipment
We're interpreting the code now
and
differently.
well, we don't know.
than we were for the other houses.
Well, we kind of have to because you have to interpret the code because they're giving you direction that's undefined. Like they don't have the reasoning behind that isn't there. Like I can argue for ventilation and light. That was an archaic code that actually caused more problems in houses than solutions.
But we've actually,
And they eventually eliminated that, which is why it's not in the IRC anymore.
we have
because
prior
the building
experience
science
with
of
that though.
doesn't work.
We got the fire department on the line one time, talking about the solar panels on the roof and how much room they needed.
Yeah.
And, it all came down to, well, if you can get a letter from the chief firefighter saying that he doesn't need it, you aren't getting that letter.
What is the,
And it says firefighter.
What is the principal purpose that the room is to be used for down there?
It's just storage.
All just storage?
It was an existing house, so they just like left it there, and
Mhm.
yeah, that was basically it.
Yeah.
So if this wasn't Pawcatuck, would it need? Where'd 310 go? Would it need? What does it? It's
It's
emergency.
emergency escape and rescue opening.
Would it need an emergency escape and rescue
No.
opening?
No, because it's not a bedroom.
That's not what this says. Basements, habitable
Oh.
attics, and every.
Yeah, the emergency egress is the stairs opens up onto a public hallway, which then has a door out.
Oh, that's the terminology. Public hallway works.
Yep, public space.
I took that to mean outside the building.
Yeah, it should, I mean, the EERO should go to the exterior, directly to the exterior.
Yeah.
Which would be a window.
Or door, yeah.
Yeah, or a door. Would a bulkhead
Yeah, or a
suffice for that?
bulkhead,
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But so that's why I looked at this yesterday, because I said, okay, we don't want to follow the Rhode Island rules. Let's follow the IRC. That's what. And the exceptions don't seem to. There is an exception if you put a sprinkler system in.
There was one other exception that had to do with the size.
Yeah, 200 square
Less than
feet.
200 square feet, but this is much more than that, right?
Yeah, we're more than 200 square feet.
I mean, 42 by 32 and a half, but some of that's crawl space.
Yeah.
You know, but that's
I mean, it's a
certainly.
good amount of space. I
It's-
calculated 890 square feet. That was to the outside walls. That's not crawl space.
It's interesting. So it's probably not our job to say, well, okay.
Don't have windows. How are we to?
No,
separate it out?
you can't trade complying with the IRC to complying to the Rhode Island building code. You know, that's not our job either.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to point out, but it's, you know, I don't know if it's gonna be removed the next code cycle, maybe.
So right now, the Rhode Island code still says we need 2 basement windows.
I thought it was gonna be removed this recently, December adopted, but we checked, and like, no, it's
Still
Yeah,
there.
that was. They told me
if
it was
you're
going to
gonna-
get removed in December, and I was like, all right.
I mean, if you're
And then
gonna
they put it back
comply
in.
completely, 100%, no questions asked.
That's kind of where we're at. Even as dumb as you think they might be, the code says
Well, we're going to
that.
put them in, and they're going to get covered with insulation. I can't even buy the windows I need. So literally, I can't get the window to meet your code, and then also meet the certification that we're going to. So there's a hardship there as well. I'm going to have a custom window made. I also feel very strongly that the building departments do have discretion about what rules they want to enforce, because they use that discretion all the time. They really do. And they use it in areas that
Tom knows firsthand.
Well-
they use it in areas that they should be paying a lot more attention to
Well.
as well. And so there's a common sense thing there that is.
My house is not as tight as what you're describing, and it should have every reason to be, but it did not go through a blower door test, you know, because that was not at that time being done by the town. So the town does seem to exercise discretion, but in this case, they haven't.
No, they didn't. But the other towns, every town around us has. So that's where I'm like, that. I mean, honestly, that's like I started out by saying, I missed that note in there because we've been building the same way for 15 years, and no one's disagreed with what we build or how we build it, and that's why I missed the note, because I was on autopilot.
Well, and I
And if it was something that was really, like, we build to a higher standard than most people understand, and we pay attention to everything to the nth degree to make the best houses possible. And I still miss that. And if it was something that was like absolutely like, oh my God, I forgot to put you know, hurricane ties onto the roof rafters. I was like, oh yeah, I'd be ripping the siding off and putting them up because it's the right thing to do. But in this case, yeah, I missed it, and I'm like, the only reason I'm here is because it's an archaic code that shouldn't even be in the books. And for some reason, this is the only town that's enforcing it, and I did miss it. So that's the only reason why I'm asking for relief from it. And in the end, if you want me to put 2 windows in, I'll put 2 windows in.
But I think part of the issue is we need reasoning to be able to support the decision that we make.
Well-
And just because the code's archaic, I don't think is
I,
a strong enough reason.
where I'm,
But I will say that more builders should be building the way you are building your houses. And I think it's really admirable, and it's where we all need to be going with our details. And
Oh yeah.
boy, this seems so
I think
familiar to me.
supporting all of that intention is really important. And if it means that we have to say 2 windows don't go in the basement,
Yeah,
I
I
just-
don't know how I'm going to meet my energy.
I'm
model now
I'm with you.
with
It's
those
just
windows.
how to
how to word it so
word
that we
it
have
so
it-
that we don't create. Well, next time, well, let's get a little more crazy and just, you know, we're the board. We decided not to.
Yeah, we
do
can
it.
say what we want and do what we want. It's
You know,
not,
but-
Oh
it's
yeah,
not that.
When
no, I
we-
realize
It's not
that
that
too. Is
easy.
like,
When
yeah,
we had the solar
when you have rules to follow,
panel
you're
thing,
not- yeah.
and we said, well, let's get something from the fire department. That's almost we're back in that. You know, it's not for the lights, not for the ventilation. It's for the firefighters. And but we can't
I
define.
mean, that's where we're looking, but we don't even know that that's where the rule has,
Right.
why the rule is stated in the code.
It's the Bilko door salesman.
Well, it hasn't. The rule hasn't stayed in the code. It's been eliminated from the code.
But
and
it's
in-
there now, that's
it's
why you're
just in
here.
Rhode Island- yeah, in Rhode Island, they
But
keep
with some
sneaking it back in.
major heavy edits to the whole thing, away from the IRC.
So where would the 2 windows go? I'm just curious, just for fun.
Under the deck.
They're going under
They
the
would go
deck.
under the
Just
deck?
to spite everybody.
How,
Well,
I'm gonna crawl under the deck with a concrete saw.
what's the headroom
Is
under
it
that
deck there?
Yeah, there's a deck.
No, but is it installed?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh,
it's already
geez.
done. Deck boards on.
What's the headroom under that deck?
Under
It's
the
not
deck?
much.
I couldn't get under there.
You can't-
It's
you
too
can't
close to
stand
the
up.
ground to.
You can't stand up?
Oh gosh, no.
You know,
No, I was just kidding. I'm not gonna.
That's
put
sort
them
of
under the deck.
useless.
I have to put 'em in. I don't know where. I got to basically look at like.
Well, I looked at
You're not gonna
your,
get much light
your
either.
elevations.
Well, they're not going to be there.
Doesn't look
for
like
light.
there's
They're
much
gonna-
room.
We're going to put them in, and I got to
Well,
figure out.
I mean, the code says you need them. It doesn't say that, you know, if you have a deck 6 inches above it, and
Yeah,
you
there
could
wasn't-
never,
there's
no
no-
one would ever know it's there, and you could never, you know, get any light through it either.
I've got a house that we're removing the deck, and we found 2 of these windows.
That were
With
closed
sale?
off.
bricks and a couple bit of foam in there. Yeah.
Can we see the elevations?
Oh, it's really tight to grade, so we're going
It's
to.
tight to grade.
We're end up with window wells as well,
Oh, jeez.
and which is an even further liability because now we're just creating a little pathway for water to get into our basement.
Small animals to die in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So which is the other reason why we don't put in basement windows is because it's just a huge liability on the building.
So it's not a habited basement now, but it does have clear headroom, so it could be. But it is completely ventilated, like a crawl space might be.
Yeah, and there's no fossil
That is in
fuels.
the code that says you can have a crawl space that doesn't have openings in it, as long as you've introduced air down there, and they have.
Is this basement gonna
So-
be finished with like a sheetrock finish or something?
Yeah, the storage space on the right, they wanted it to be clean.
Well, that's why there's like the interior wall.
Yeah, they just wanted it to be clean and bright in the storage area. Probably because the basement before, there was basically a river running through it, literally. And it would flood all the time, and so we fixed all that. And so people don't realize that when you build a basement the way we build them, it's actually the most comfortable and cleanest room in the entire building. And so it's hard to educate people on, like, the basement is not your gonna be the last place you put stuff before it goes in the dumpster. It's gonna be clean and super dry, and will never flood, and so it'll,
It's an interesting idea.
yeah.
But, so this is a basement that's being built like it's above grade.
Oh, absolutely, it's,
But with no windows.
yeah. 'cause
But
they don't, you know,
there's nothing in the code that says you can't.
You have to have windows in your house, right? Well, so,
Well,
well, not
under
in every
certain
room.
circumstance, not in every room.
Just bedrooms.
so the whole basement floor is concrete?
No.
Does it have a continuous vapor barrier of some kind?
Yes. It's got
Class
a-
1 vapor retarder?
Yep, it's got a 15 mils stego on the floor and up the walls, and then we've got a couple inches of EPS foam. The walls have Thermax, which is fire resistant, or whatever that meets, basically meets exposure. And then there's, on top of the foam, there's 2 layers of 3/4 Advantech.
Can we say,
Well, I was just looking at the requirements for an unvented crawl space. And one of them is that there is a continuous class 1 vapor barrier. You can correct me if I'm wrong, right? And then one of several other options must be provided for in that space, and a continuously operated mechanical exhaust ventilation at a rate equal to 1 cubic foot per minute for each 50 square feet of crawl space floor area. Do you have that? I know
Yeah.
it's not a crawl space, but
Yeah,
you have a
we-
lot of cubic feet in that.
We have, that's all
area.
covered, yeah.
So-
The entire volume of air in this house, from the basement all the way up to the sheetrock below the attic insulation, that will all be removed and replaced 100% once every 3 hours,
So including the basement.
including
Yeah.
every single.
So he's meeting the requirements of an unvented crawl space.
so.
I know it's not a crawl space, but he is meeting those requirements.
So I was thinking along a similar lines in that maybe our problem could be resolved if we change how we interpret that space. And you're saying instead of treating it like a full basement, it's a crawl space. Or I'm thinking it's complies with the ventilation and construction of above grade rooms.
Mhm.
And maybe we should just not treat it like a basement.
Basement, right. Yeah.
Because it's not your traditional basement.
It's not.
And
does-
it isn't, and the fact that those walls slam into concrete and then earth, I mean, you can't get through a wall in a house anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You know, that it's below grade.
Right. Except for if the fire marshal told us that he wants the windows to put a hose into.
I mean, it's not in the fire code, so they only have.
It's not in the
you
fire
know,
code. There you go. Okay, so
So they don't have,
they
but
don't
not
have
for
the.
1 and 2 family dwellings, they
Yeah.
just smoke and
So
CO
they could-
detectors are their only
So they could
jurisdiction, really.
say that, but it's not in the code. So we don't know that the windows are even there for the fire marshal. Because that's not in the fire code.
That's interesting.
So it sounds like possibly they're only there for natural
like,
light,
So are we close to somebody
and we have
making a proposal of some words?
electricity today. So I'm going back to your archaic code. I mean, I'm feeling like we should be treating it more like it's an unvented crawl space. That
But it
meets
is-
that meets the requirements for not having to be not having to have windows. It's an unvented underfloor space.
We could say that we've determined that the ventilation and construction techniques are such that this does not need to be treated like a basement.
Like a basement that's required to be vented with windows.
Right. Does that, no, we're always on
Yeah,
a
that-
tightrope
I know,
here.
that,
Sounded like a motion.
yeah, that sounded like a
Well,
motion to me.
Sounds like a motion.
So.
Can I second it?
I think Tom's just made a motion.
I'm gonna start talking about entropy again. Um,
I think it's within your purview, but I don't want to tell you what to do or say.
Give me that in English again.
Yeah, let's try to work that out. This happens to me all the time.
Well, let's just take
Well, back to your crawl space. Do you want to refer to it? Do you be more defined in?
I mean, the code calls it an unvented crawl space or an unvented underfloor space.
And because it's an unvented underfloor space, it does not require windows.
Well, when we say unvented, I think that means, correct me if I'm wrong, that it doesn't have windows.
Correct.
Yeah, so that means it doesn't have
You-
windows.
okay,
It's
so
an
the fact
that-
unvented space that's under the house. And it doesn't require those vents because it has the class 1 vapor retarder or equivalent, which Steve has described what is on the floor and the walls of this space. And it also has a continuously operated mechanical exhaust ventilation system.
Well, it's balanced. It's not exhaust only. It's supply.
Okay, so it's better than exhaust because it's a system that is a whole house ventilation system,
Yeah, it's
and the
supplying.
basement is included in that whole house
supplying and removing the
ventilation
air
system.
and filtering it through a MERV
Yeah.
14 filter.
So I think with those two elements incorporated into the design of the house, we can say that the windows are not required because we're treating that space more like an unvented crawl space or unvented space under the house. Was that a motion? Getting close. Are we getting close, Tom?
I'm trying.
You just got to lead with.
Yes, you got to lead with that. I make a motion.
Yeah, where's your Robert's Rules of Order?
I know we need the Roberts.
Well, I was just practicing.
Stephen, we don't meet too often, probably once or twice a year.
Yeah.
That's
And
okay.
and we by chance are looking for, so Paul Sherman's no longer on the board.
Oh no,
So, and Mike,
Melchiori.
Joyce
Oh,
is,
okay.
Moose is, he's usually out of the state.
You're Ed.
So he's-
Oh, we were looking for a contractor.
So we're looking for a contractor.
Oh, for this board?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I would do that.
Because we only meet once a year.
Well, you're just
I'm not
saying
gonna
that
be-
now because you
I
haven't
know.
made the
Then we'll
motion.
meet 100 times after you get on the board.
We've had some years where we've had lots of meetings.
Hmm.
But,
Well, lately, it's maybe 3 a year. There was one time we had 2 or 3 in one meeting. That's rare.
Yeah.
No, I've been trying to. I've actually, now that I'm not junior warden anymore.
Yeah, right.
No, I've been trying to find something to do. Like I work with Habitat, and I was talking. There was the zoning board of appeals. I think they always have
that's
openings
that's
too.
That's this.
That's another.
Well,
Oh
this
no,
is-
zoning
I
board of
mean,
appeals.
Oh,
That's
those
more-
guys are,
That's more work.
they're
That's-
busy, busy, busy.
That's that's brutal work.
Oh, is that one brutal? I haven't looked into it yet, but
It's not that bad, but
I've always heard, don't they meet at least once a month?
it's once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to do
Late
that.
too?
7
And
to
every
10.
is a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, about that.
But you would be good at that. You should do that.
Well, I almost went to law school.
You should do that. You
Decided
should
to
be on
only
the zoning
build it
board.
instead. I don't know which one was the right choice, but
I think you might end up with more conflict and on the zoning board though. I mean,
Yeah.
what would
yeah, but I'm
happen?
actually working on trying not to care what other people think. So that could be a good
There,
exercise.
there is something you
Oh.
sign about conflict of interest.
Yeah, I don't know. You haven't been before the board on many, if any, right?
No, actually, I'm doing my first one in Jamestown. They have they have a village district committee, and they have these like general guidelines of what they want the buildings to look like.
Architecturally.
Yeah. And they're actually looking at our, like, we're right, we literally missed it by like 10 yards. And it's completely arbitrary. And they just tell you, I don't like this.
Mm.
Go look at the book. And then you go and you fix what they say, and then you bring it back, and they go, nah, I still don't like that. and then they send you back.
Oh, boy.
That's what I was joking about. That's why I brought Bo Brown, because that's what Bo used to do to people at the desk, and it was kind of funny. And he's the one that taught me that when you're going to do a project in a town, the first thing you do is you take your plans and you go to the town, and whoever that's going to be evaluated, and you sit down with them and you go, "What would you like me to do?
not a
What
bad
do you
idea.
want?"
Do you want me to
So
start,
that's why I learned. I
Tom?
learned it from Bo. And it works
You
great.
add to it, or are you gonna do the whole thing?
Well, no, I'm just,
Taking notes?
No, Jamie, I would.
I'm trying to,
Yeah, I mean, we can talk after.
Yeah.
if you-
There are no easy problems.
well,
to solve.
what I wrote
I like
here
all the
was,
problems.
the board
That's why I like
determined
building.
through discussions that the area under the house is constructed in such a manner that the area is not considered to be a basement area that requires 2 windows. Don't tie it into any of your,
It is a basement area.
I said, to be a basement area that requires 2 windows.
Okay.
I didn't say it's not a basement.
Repeat that, Tom?
I said, the whole thing?
Hmm.
The board determined through discussions that the area under the house is constructed in such a manner that the area is not considered to be a basement area that requires 2 windows. That really doesn't say much, but do you want to add in things about the vapor barrier or?
I think we should, yeah.
I like the mention of unventilated crawl space.
That we can treat the area like an unvented crawl space.
Is it a little bit
I
more?
don't think you should say it's not a basement, because it
I
is.
didn't say it wasn't a
I know,
basement.
you're saying, but you are saying that
Well,
in the insert.
Do you want to not even mention the whole basement thing? So we could say, constructed in a manner that complies with the requirements of a non-ventilated crawl space.
Non-vented, not ventilated,
Non-
non-vented crawl space.
non-vented.
Yes, that complies with the.
A non,
Vented crawl space.
and we should say that a non-vented crawl space does not require windows?
If it, yes, it doesn't require the windows if it meets the other criteria, if it meets certain criteria.
Size and,
No,
And
it would be
height.
the vapor barrier on the
Oh.
floor and the whole house ventilation system that he's installing.
so what I did was I just cut out the thing about the basement and said, the board determined that through discussions that the area under the house is constructed in such a manner in a manner that complies with the requirements of a non-vented crawl space.
Mhm.
We can add in, instead of saying such a manner, we could just say is constructed with ventilation and vapor barriers, or
With the vapor barrier at the floor.
just vapor barrier? Anything else?
Yep, and the whole house ventilation system. Are you ready? Want me to start it?
Sorry, what?
Motion. Or are you ready? You good?
Want me to read it?
Well, you have to say it.
Well,
You have to
make
make,
it-
somebody
You
has
have to make a
motion.
motion. Somebody has to make a motion.
I'll make a motion if you
Okay.
guys say you'll agree to it.
Well, I can always add things
Okay.
to it, can't I?
No, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
You can open it for discussion after this. so.
Yeah, if there's any
I'd
discussion.
like to make a
amend it.
motion.
Okay.
I make a motion that, I forget the words of this. The board moves to
Grant.
grant
Board.
the application,
Grant the variance.
grant the variance. Oh, not good. Yeah, I forgot. I always get tripped up with this now. How do I get into? Okay. I make a motion that the board grant the variance based on our determination through discussions that the area under the house is constructed with a whole house ventilation system and vapor barriers which comply with the requirements of a non-vented crawl space.
There you go.
But, therefore, the result is that the windows are not required. That's the
In an-
object.
In the non-vented crawl space, the windows are
I
not.
thought, in
required.
essence, we were saying that by saying we grant the application
Yeah.
of the variance.
Well, we can do it that way, but
So motion made by Mr. Gilchrist. Is there a second?
Could I make an addition?
He'd have to amend, or.
Or
she
can amend the motion
I
before you
just
vote on
wanted
it.
to add, if I can, that this is a very specific construction method that they're going for, and trying to build a net zero house that's very energy efficient. So
you want that in the motion.
it's important to be able to not have to install these windows.
Motion amended.
I find that true,
Yeah.
but I'm also wondering, is there a benefit to us justifying
Yeah,
our
I'm not comfortable with that addition.
Okay,
up?
strike it.
Just keep it as simple and as plain, easy language as you can. You know,
Yes.
Keep it simple.
So the amendment's withdrawn.
Yes.
Is there a second?
I second. Oh, go ahead. Ed second.
Well, all right, so second by Mr. Melchiori. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
History.
I'm a pessimist, so I wasn't expecting
history
that.
is made.
History is made.
The last item is the adjournment. Anybody want to make a motion for
Make a
adjournment?
motion, we adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Melchiori. Any second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor, but signify by saying
Aye.
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 All right.
There you go. Now.
Come on, just.